Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024. It is currently 1 p.m. Central Time, and I am coming to you live from the Theology Central studio, located right here in Abilene, Texas. Are you ready for an update? Are you ready for, well, I don't know if you'll be excited about it. I don't even know if I want to say an important update, but an update, still an update, right? It may not be maybe the most earth-shattering news, but at least information that I want you to have. As many of you know, I have been broadcasting for many years, and I've tried utilizing every platform that I can find in some way, shape, or form, right? The only thing that can really limit the number of platforms is how compatible your equipment is with different platforms. In other words, can you broadcast live? Can you only upload to? So there's some limitations there. Like there were times we were trying to go live on 3 or 4 different platforms. At the same time, that didn't work out very well because some of the platforms tried to take control of the microphone and others. And so it would turn the volume down on some platforms and increase it on others. And it was a mess. So, but other than that limitation, equipment and compatibility, the other limitation, of course, is just money, right? I mean, you got to have money. The more money you have, the more things you can use, the more tools you can use, the more things you can utilize, the more things you can do. So we've always been, trying and looking for different platforms and different options. Well, one of the platforms that we have been utilizing for a number of years now is obviously the Sermon Audio platform. And our content is on the Sermons 2.0 app and the beta.sermonaudio.com website, right? You can find all of our content on the Sermons 2.0 app or the beta.sermonaudio.com website. Now, if you know the beta.sermonaudio.com website, it's still in beta, but that's going to be the new and improved Sermon Audio website. And you look at it, they have made tremendous improvements. It looks super nice. It's awesome. They've really done a lot of hard work on the website. Sadly, many people are still using the old website. I don't know why. Everyone, if you're going to use the website, go to beta.sermonaudio.com. It's much better. It looks something more modern. The old Sermon Audio website looks like something, I don't know, from like 2002 or something. So please go to beta.sermonaudio.com and then look for us. All right. And so that's where our content is. The Sermons 2.0 app is great. They continue to make improvements. Supposedly more updates and improvements are coming along on down the road. Don't know when, but it'll be interesting to see what new things they add and what new features. So our content is there. But one of the things that really makes the Sermon Audio platform worth the money we spend, it's $60 a month. And for us to be able to broadcast on that platform, one of the really awesome features is what is known as the ChurchOne app. ChurchOne. You can go to the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, just do a search for ChurchOne. Once you download the app, you have to kind of just start. It's basically going to have you kind of do your onboarding process. And what you need to do is choose a broadcaster. Hopefully you'll choose us, Theology Central. Once you choose Theology Central, then the ChurchOne app, for all practical purposes, becomes the Theology Central app. It becomes really our app. And then when you look at it, all of our content is there. It's organized really well. It's got a good search feature, or at least a pretty decent search feature. It's got all of our content is broken down into series. And so I really appreciate that, because if you look at our content on any podcasting app, right, doesn't matter if it's Apple, doesn't matter if it's Spotify, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Overcast, you just name the podcasting app. Well, all your content is just kind of listed, like just basically in chronological order. Typically, they start from the newest and go to the oldest. You can typically reverse the order, oldest to newest, but that's basically all you have. There's no way to break things down into series or anything like that. So meaning that in most cases, people are probably not going to sit there and scroll down and down and down and down to look at your old content. So a good portion of that old content is never found. It's just, what you kind of upload an episode and you've got maybe 48, 72 hours, if you're lucky, a week for that episode to really get noticed and to get listened to. After that, it's pretty much done. You could, I hate to say it, you can pretty much go in and just delete it. Now, sometimes people will find older things via some search, but a good portion of it is just gone. And that is very discouraging and very depressing, because it kind of tells you as a broadcaster, everything is about the now. Forget what you did a week ago, a month ago. It's all about the now. So just keep producing new content, because you may think, well, I've got 4,000 episodes out there, and nobody cares about 3,999 of them. Okay. They may look for the last 5 or 10, but they're not going to sit there and scroll through thousands. They're not going to do it. And there's no way to organize it. Well, with the ChurchOne app, you'll notice everything is broken into series. So there's a possibility that someone will click on series, see the series, and then it's much easier to go through all of the particular episodes. Now, the same thing happens if you look for us on the Sermons 2.0 app and find Theology Central. You can still find our series. If you go to beta.sermonaudio.com, do a search for Theology Central, you'll find our series. So all of that makes their platform almost invaluable, right? There's not really a price tag you can put on. It's $60 a month, but from a practical standpoint, that's really invaluable, if I can speak correctly, because all of your stuff is just organized. So you have a greater chance, or let's say there's a greater chance to exist that someone may actually find your older content. There's a chance. And if you look at, say, the beta.sermonaudio.com website or the Sermons 2.0 app, their search function is also designed to look for any sermons based off a particular scripture or a particular topic, which once again will help people find your old content. The podcasting apps, their search functions are, they're okay, but there's times I've gone to some of the podcasting apps and do a search literally for the title of one of my episodes, and you cannot even find it. And I'm like, well, that's disappointing. That's discouraging. But because of all the data I can put in when I upload something to the Sermon Audio platform, I have all that data really works well with their search function, so then makes it easier for it to be discovered. So that's all it makes it invaluable. That makes it absolutely like you want to be on that platform. You do. Well, the ChurchOne app, I have tried to promote it over and over and over and over again. I don't know how successful I've been. This is the one thing that is frustrating. Of all the data and all the analytics I am handed to by Sermon Audio, they do not tell me how many people have downloaded the ChurchOne app and chosen us as their featured broadcaster. That's kind of discouraging, right? That's kind of discouraging. Now, if you go to the beta.sermonaudio.com website, they now have a section called My Church. You can actually choose Theology Central to be your chosen broadcaster. I know it's called My Church because, they still haven't really embraced the podcasters. It's still more about churches, but you could actually make me I hate to say my church because I'm not a church. I'm a podcast, right? But in a sense, by saying my church, you're saying you're a broadcaster. I don't know if that makes my content more easier to access, but you can try it. Go to beta.sermonaudio.com website, look for the section called My Church and choose Theology Central. You can report to me what that looks like. I haven't tried it yet. I just saw the feature the other day and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I wonder if people will utilize that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that will work. But the ChurchOne app is the app that I've definitely tried to promote. And one of the reasons we've tried to promote this, and one of the reasons we pay, and this is crazy to think about. If you really think about it, really when we kind of moved in this direction to be on the Sermon Audio platform, really all we wanted, in fact, I think I even asked if it was possible, can we just can we just pay money just to have the ChurchOne app? Like you can hide our content from every other source. We just want it to be on the ChurchOne app. And why did we want it to be on the ChurchOne app, class? Everyone knows. We wanted it to be on the ChurchOne app because of the notifications. On Spreaker, our podcast hosting site, when they allowed live broadcast, the notification system to let people know that I was going live was trash. We did a test on Mixlr, which there's a lot of good things I liked about Mixlr, but their notification system was somewhat trash. Of everything we've ever tried, the ChurchOne app's notification is by far the best. It is superior to everything else we've ever tried. I get ready to go live. Within minutes, a notification goes out letting everyone know I have gone live. So that's what we really pay the money for, really, is for that app, the ChurchOne app. So in some ways, we spent the money to be on the ChurchOne app, and sometimes it's difficult to get people to adopt that app. They want to use other things. But the ChurchOne app, we have promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. Again, it has all of our content broken down into series, and it has notification systems. And not only that, I can send out notices. I can send out links to a book, right? Like we've done countless times. If I mention a book, I can send out a link to it. If I mention a website, I can send out a link to it. Other people don't use notices that way, but of course I don't use anything the way probably they were originally designed. I kind of just make them my own, right? I kind of make them my own. So the ChurchOne app really is now the Theology Central app for those who choose us to be their broadcaster. So I say all of that to kind of explain why we've been using this app and why we pay the money for. A lot of people say, well, why pay the money? I mean, you could do some of the other podcast hosting sites for, cheaper, right? I mean, that's $60 a month. I know I could. But then we lose all of our content broken into series, and we lose the live broadcasting option, and we lose the notification system. If I'm going to lose all of that, I'm just going to be honest with you. There's no real point. You know what I'm saying? Just be done. So what I'm here to tell you today is the ChurchOne app has been updated, and I think it looks really nice. So here, I don't know about you. I'm almost compulsive with this. Every single day I go to the App Store and the Apple App Store, and I pull down on the screen so it refreshes and it shows me if there's been any new updates to any of the apps that I utilize, because I like to manually update the apps so then I can immediately look at any new features. It's a kind of a compulsive thing. I probably check probably 3-4 times a day, because I'm always looking to see what new features are added to any app that I utilize. So the ChurchOne app was updated yesterday. Now, here are some of the features that are in this update. If I can find it here, give me 1 second. Here we are. Supposedly, this is a complete app rewrite from the ground up, all right? It looks like it, all right? In fact, what you'll see when you open the new ChurchOne app, well, first, when you open up the new ChurchOne app, once you update it, you're going to have to do the onboarding process again. You're going to have to choose us to be your chosen broadcaster. I'm not going to say your favorite, but your chosen. And the reason I say, the reason I tell people to use that app for us and not other ministries is mainly because of how frequently we add new content and how frequently I go live. So that seems to make the app much more productive and profitable to have it for us than other places that may only add content once a week. All right. So that's my sales pitch. All right. So, but they've kind of basically rewritten it, and it looks a lot like the beta.sermonaudio.com website. It has the same, you can tell they're kind of using the same coding and the same, it's looking the same. They're trying to get a kind of a uniformity in all of their platforms. Supposedly it has an improved search functionality and search history. Well, we definitely want the search to be as improved as much as they can improve it, because the search is what allows people to find my content, right? You want that search to be perfect, because if people are looking for anything, I want them to be able to find it. If they can't find it, well, then they're never going to listen to it. Enhanced performance and stability. Oh, that's great. We want it to perform better and we want it to be more stable. That's good. Now, I've heard that there's some type of a floating player experience. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I haven't noticed it yet. So we'll keep looking for that. Maybe there's more updates to come. It's going to have a more precise percentage playback indicator to know exactly where you are and listening. That's always good. It's going to have dark mode. Now, depending on your device, my device is already set up for dark mode. So as soon as I opened it, I was like, whoa, this is in dark mode. That's awesome. If you prefer dark mode, sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. They're going to have improved offline support. That's good because sometimes when you're using the ChurchOne app, you're not going to be online. You're not going to be connected to Wi-Fi. You may be somewhere. But if you've downloaded messages, you want to be able to get to those messages that you have downloaded so you can listen when you're not online. So hopefully that works better. They're going to have improved language support, and they've got French, Persian, Portuguese, Spanish. So I don't know how all of that's going to work, but they have that. So the app has been updated. So please go update it. Go to your app store of choice for your device, look up ChurchOne and hit update. Or if there's other ways for you to look up updates for your apps, update it. And then let me know what you see and if you feel it works. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this broadcast, well, one, I didn't want to talk about all of this as an introduction to something else because, then there would be a 20-minute introduction about something not related to the topic that we're going to talk about. So it'd be like 15, 20-minute introduction, then introduce the topic I'm going to talk about. That's maddening to everyone. So I thought I would just make this one self-contained episode. But one of the reasons we did this is I wanted to ensure that the notification system was working for the updated ChurchOne app, and it worked without any problems. So I sent out a notice earlier, the notification worked, and now we went live and the notification worked. So that seems to imply that the notification system is working great. The app looks much better. Hopefully it functions much better. If you find an issue with the update, please you can contact me, but if you contact Sermon Audio directly, that's great. You can be, I'm a listener, I'm using the app, and this is what it's doing or not doing, because then they can fix it. A lot of times, if something's not working correctly, a lot of people will tell me, okay, well, then I have to go tell them. Okay. And so, but if it comes from the listeners, and there's multiple ones coming, not just from me, right? I can say, hey, 15 people contacted me, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. We don't know. Okay. You just want what you want. And I'm like, no, okay. I'm trying to speak for the listeners, but if the listeners actually contact them, then okay. So please go check that out. Update your app. And then hopefully it will prove to be beneficial. And then listen, and then keep ChurchOne. Even let's say my podcast comes to an end. Well, you can then just get rid of me as your chosen broadcaster and then choose someone else. And then choose one of the other people who's used the Sermon Audio platform and make it their app. Right? I mean, I look, that's the one thing about anybody when it comes to Christianity. Doesn't matter if you're a pastor, doesn't matter if you're a podcaster, doesn't even matter if you are a church. You are easily replaceable. Just like that. Right? I can sit here behind this microphone thinking that I'm unique, or I have this, or doesn't really matter. I'm nothing, because if I disappear tomorrow, nobody's going to remember it 2 days later. They're already going to move on to the next broadcaster, the next podcaster, the next church, the next ministry. And then when that one's gone, they'll just move on to the next one, and they just move on. That's kind of the way it's designed to be, right? There's no one who's irreplaceable within Christianity. We're just a voice. And that voice can be changed at any moment, at any time. People change anyway. They get tired of you. They don't like you. Whatever the case may be, they'll just move on. That's the way it works. So you gotta realize that. So in some cases, you have the tools, and as soon as you need to replace me with someone else, you already have the tool in order to do that, and then it will be beneficial. So have the app even if you don't even use it for me. Choose another broadcaster on Sermon Audio and use it for them. right? So that you get their content and you get notified when they go live, right? Because then, I think that's an awesome thing. It'll be advantageous for you, and you'll get, better use of things. Choose the broadcaster that's going to benefit you the most, right? That's what you have to do. That's what you must do, because, there's no point in having it for anybody else. Now, I know for many people, they're like, well, I already got the Sermons 2.0 app. Now I got the ChurchOne app. I don't want another app. And I do understand that. I do. But if you listen to me on a pretty consistent and regular basis, I think the ChurchOne app is the best way to do so. And look, let me make it very clear. When I'm promoting it, it's actually a disadvantage to me. Currently, for our podcasting feed, right, that comes from Spreaker, that's still currently monetized. I'm still debating what to do there, because currently that at least pays for the price. Right now, currently it can cover the price of broadcasting on Spreaker. The monetization covers the price of broadcasting on Spreaker, making basically broadcasting on Spreaker free. That's what that monetization has done. It's not making me any money. It's not going to make my house payment. It's not going to do anything like that. But it does cover the cost of broadcasting, right? So if I can at least cover the cost of broadcasting, in some ways I don't want to get rid of the commercials. Other ways I want to get rid of the commercials. So I don't know. I'm really conflicted over that. I'm really conflicted, and so I'm still trying to figure out what to do. But when I tell everyone to go download the ChurchOne app, I'm actually undermining that, because the more people who go to ChurchOne, well, that content's not monetized. Hey, if you listen to us on Sermons 2.0, ChurchOne, no monetization. You hear no commercials. Right. So in that sense, that's great. Right. But I'm undermining my ability to make any money, but that's okay, because I want people to have the easiest access to the content more than anything else. And yes, there's still a lot of questions moving forward. I still don't, I told you in 2023, I didn't know what 2024 was going to look like. Remember, I told you 2024 was going to be weird, right? So we definitely know this. Victory Baptist Church in Ovalo, Texas, for all practical purposes, there's just no way to say it. It's over. It's done, right? There's a big for sale sign in the middle of the parking lot, right? We're waiting for someone to buy the building, and then for all practical purposes, it's over. If someone does buy the building, if everything works out correctly, hopefully, if it works out correctly, my house will be paid for, and then I don't have to worry about anything there. But that's going to have a profound impact on things, right? It's going to raise some big questions, because once the church goes away, well, then if I ask for giving or donations to help cover the cost of broadcasting on, say, Sermons 2.0, ChurchOne, that's $60 a month. Well, if that money comes directly to me, because it would no longer go to the church, well, then now that becomes taxable, right? So then how do I report that tax? And then do I end up actually hurting myself in the long run, right? Now, I think there's an argument if it's less than $600, then it won't. Well, see, the money, in some ways, I wish Sermon Audio had it set up where people could just give money, but it went directly to Sermon Audio and not to me. Right? So then someone basically is paying for my broadcasting. I don't have to worry about any tax. No money comes to me. It goes directly to Sermon Audio, and then I'm good to go for each month, right? Someone just pays for it each month, or 3 listeners pay for it, whatever the case may be. That would be the best, because if you bring in too much, then I looked up lots of articles about podcasting and taxation, and you got to fill out a form. And if you bring in this much, and I'm like, no. I don't want it to be that complicated. If the monetization pays for Spreaker, great. Then the most expensive is Sermon Audio, which is $60 a month. If we could find a way for the money just to go straight to them. Now it would be great in some ways. It would be great if I could bring in an entire year's worth of support for 2025, before the church goes away, right? Then the money would go directly to the church. Then I could contact Sermon Audio and go, hey, here's a year's worth. Can this pay for all of 2025? And if they said yes, then hand them the money, be done with it. And then I know I can broadcast between now and the end of 2025, and I don't have to worry about anything. That would be the ultimate thing, right? That would be, because then the money would go to the church directly to Sermon Audio, never cross my hands. And then there we go. And then when the church goes away, then all right. And then when the 2026, then we would have to determine, even if the podcast still exists in 2026, but at least we would have one final year run, right? That's the way, if I go out, that's the way I want to go out. I want to be able to have like, okay, you got 12 months. I've got from now to the end of 2025. That would be a good run. That would be a really good run. So that's what I'm shooting for. I don't know how that's all going to work, but the thing is, I would like to be able to maintain what we have, because I think the platform works really well. I think the ChurchOne platform is one of the, no other podcasting site, no matter how much money you pay for, is offering what they're offering, right? I could go up on Spreaker and pay even more money than I pay for the ChurchOne app. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Won't even give me anywhere, won't really add anything to what I already have available to me. They don't have anything designed like ChurchOne. So it's worth the money. Like to me, once that goes away, I don't know. But $60 a month, a little bit of a price there. We have the pod page. I'm still debating on what to do with that, because that's $20 a month. So I may get rid of the pod page. Oh, that'd be very discouraging. But then that just brings it down to Spreaker and ChurchOne. Boom. That's it. So then all I would need is I can pay for Spreaker with the monetization. Currently I can. Now, if I keep moving everyone to ChurchOne, then that will go away. But okay. But then on ChurchOne, if we can maintain it, then that's just $60 a month, and we get the giving to cover it. Right now, we get the giving supports ChurchOne, so we're in good shape right there. The issue is once the church goes away, which in all practical purposes, it's it could end any time. Then I got to change it to come directly to my bank account, and I don't like that. I want it to go straight to Sermon Audio. I don't know if they have it set up. Is there a way that people can just give money that it just covers my broadcasting fee? I don't know how that can work. There's got to be a way. I'm gonna email them and ask them, hey, is there a way people can just give directly to you guys to cover the cost of broadcasting for a broadcaster? Now I know that would probably be an accounting nightmare for them. I don't know how that would work, but it would be so easy for me because then no money comes directly to me. None, zero, zilch, none. And then all tax issues are taken care of. Then nobody's giving me any money. So then nobody has to feel like I'm in it for the money. It keeps me I think I like that. It's much more transparent. Hey, all money goes to them, not to me. Boom. You're giving to them, not to me. So, and then if you decide you don't like me broadcasting, you just stop giving, and then I don't have anyone paying for it, and then it goes away like that. Then I think I like that. I like that. I like that. That's that's an eloquent solution. I just don't know if it will work. I need to ask them, because that really would be awesome. Wouldn't that be awesome? I would think that would be awesome. All I'm doing is someone is paying for me to broadcast on that one platform. I turn on the microphone, broadcast on that platform. And if the giving goes away, then I don't broadcast on that platform. And then we end the podcast and everyone moves on. That's simple, right? I like that. I just don't know. I don't know if that will work, but we'll cross that bridge. But in the meantime, ChurchOne is ready and active and good to go. Hopefully, you will utilize it. Hopefully, more updates are coming, and we'll be looking for an update to the Sermons 2.0 app. Don't know when. We don't know when that's happening. Yesterday, I was surprised to see the ChurchOne update. So I was like, wow, that came quickly. So I'd heard about it. Now I was already there. So we'll see if we hear about the Sermons 2.0 one and then once it's available. So be looking for it on both cases, because what we're hoping for in the Sermons 2.0 app update, whenever that happens, we're hoping for notifications. That's what we're hoping, because then people, whether they're using Sermons 2.0 or whether they're using ChurchOne, can have it set up that they receive notifications when I'm going live. And so then maybe you won't even need the ChurchOne app. Maybe at that point, the ChurchOne app becomes a little bit more irrelevant. Maybe it becomes almost obsolete. I don't know. I mean, look, if people can get to the content and it's all laid out nicely, then it doesn't really matter which app they're utilizing. I like people having that option, because some people don't want two apps on their mobile device. They don't, and I understand that. So we will see. But that's kind of the update today. I just wanted to kind of get that out. Again, this has gone 30 minutes. Talking about all of that, as I couldn't have done that on any other broadcast. It would have just messed up everything. So there you have it. The ChurchOne app is updated. Go run the update now. Go to your app store of choice, which should be Apple, but okay. Go to your app store of choice, look for ChurchOne, hit update. Once you update it, you're going to have to do the onboarding process again. It's going to be all wiped out. Then you'll type in Theology Central, boom, choose me as your broadcaster. Make sure all the notifications are on. Go under settings, make sure all the notifications are turned on. And then you can, go with dark mode if you want to go with dark mode, or you can go with the light mode, whichever one looks best to you. And then you can start messing around with the search functionality to see if you feel like it's improved, if you've used the old one. And there you go. And we'll see how everything plays out in the rest of 2024. This year is going to be done. And I remember I was very concerned in the end of 2023. We made every kind of cut that we can make to preserve and make sure we can make it. And we've done very well making it. And thank you for those who have supported, because it's been very helpful and very beneficial. Now what we have to transition out of is, the next transition is no more church. This is just a podcast completely separated from a church. This is not anything to do with a church. It's just a podcast and a podcast. That's it. Now, how do we work this so the money can be handled in a way that's, to me, I want my hands off of it. That goes directly to sermon audio, and then that pays for this. That would be perfect. So if we can figure out a system like that, we will. All right. And so it would be great. It would be great if we could. I know in theory, like if I'm dreaming, all the money comes into the church before it closes down, and then I'm like, okay. Then I contact sermon audio. Hey, here's the money for 1 year. Can you apply it to my account? Yes. Okay, good. All right. Then we don't have to worry about it to the end of 2025. And then by that point, then I may say the end. I did my best with my failures, with my mistakes, with the good, with the bad. It's been what it's been. And then we call it like one final run, one final push. So we will see if that's where it goes. Maybe it ends before 2025. We don't know. But that's kind of where we are. But I think that's kind of a lot of updates. That's a lot of updates. But it's all interconnected. It's all because a lot of these changes are happening behind the scenes, right? So you don't really, you don't see, all you see is someone turns on the microphone and talks. You don't really have any connection to all the stuff behind the scenes. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. So we will see. All right, we'll get that out of the way. And then I'm going to try to take a break. I'll be back hopefully shortly because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to make an apology because I was wrong about Psalm 83. Yeah. One of those broadcasts where I'm going to have to say I was wrong. And I was wrong. After hours of verifying, it appears I was wrong. I can explain why I was wrong, but we will talk about that in the next live broadcast. And if you're using the ChurchOne app, you'll get a notification when I start that live broadcast, which I hope to do after a quick break, a drink of water, turn on the AC unit behind me. Oh, and just a last thing, if right now, I don't know if you know what's happened in Texas, but we got hit by that hurricane, and there's like 3 million people without power right now. And the heat in some of those areas where they have no power, it's not just hot, it's dangerously hot. Like people's lives could be at risk. It's a very serious situation in certain parts of Texas. So the path of it, we were supposed to get a good portion of like the after effects, but it turned. And so for us, we missed all the rain, we missed all the wind, we missed everything. We just have heat. So, and if it's hot for me, I can't imagine where some of these people are right now with no power. That's a bad, bad, bad situation. And for everyone else who's been impacted by the hurricane, not just Texas, the Caribbean, parts of Mexico, some of those places were completely like destroyed. So Texas, just massive flooding and major power outages, with some severe wind damage down in the Houston, Galveston area. So, yeah. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully we'll try to get a couple of small things accomplished today. The next thing on my agenda, Psalm 83, I was wrong, and we'll talk about that in the next live broadcast. Thanks for listening. God bless.